Another guy who works with a lot of women said that, he had to admit first for a long time he was out of integrity and would hit on, be inappropriate with other women, but he got his shit together. And now what he does, that whenever he's around a woman who's very beautiful, he imagines taking all of the energy that it activates within him. He says he imagines putting it in his pocket and then he brings it home to his wife. This is the standard.
My flabbers are ghasted, okay? My flabbers were ghasted when I saw this. The fact that she's trying to say that these are the good men. This is why so many women are saying that they're not dealing with men anymore.
These men fucking exist. This is the bar.
The bar is in hell. If this is the bar, we are in hell.
Yeah, when you think of the soulmate concept, you're just that you're only meant for one person. So then why would I want anyone else? And obviously one person is more than enough for anybody. We all deep down want this deep connection where we just give our all to one person and receive that back. That's the most beautiful gift you could ever share. It's so sacred and special. And when you realize that projecting or thinking about someone else as attractive or getting turned on by them is sexual projection and basically a form of cheating, it just becomes really disgusting to think about.
Welcome back, guys, to Inner Alchemy. We are on episode 23, I believe it is. And today I want to react to this reel that I found on Instagram talking about the new standard for healthy men. And I have so many thoughts, and it's going to be a really interesting one. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay, so
dude, let me give you an insight into what a healthy man sounds like. I was at a summit last weekend with a group called Sacred Sons. They do men's work, but several times a year they do co-ed events. So they bring women in, and they had this panel of men, and one woman asked the panel of men to be my man is has a wandering eye. How do you deal with being in integrity and being committed to your partner? Ladies, this was their answer. One of them, flat out in his 60s, was look, I don't take energy from women. I appreciate their essence. And when I am interacting with a beautiful woman in her essence, I appreciate it, and I take that energy that it activates within me, and I imagine sending it straight to my wife's heart. He's and I go home to my wife, and still to this day, she's in her 60s and she's blossoming and blooming, and we have the best relationship ever. Another guy who works with a lot of women said that, he had to admit first for a long time he was out of integrity and would hit on, be inappropriate with other women, but he got his shit together. And now what he does, because he interacts with so many women in his day job, that whenever he's around a woman who's very beautiful, he imagines taking all of the energy that it activates within him. He says he imagines putting it in his pocket and then he brings it home to his wife. This is the standard. These men exist. There are men who are no longer addicted to corn.
My flabbers are ghasted, okay? My flabbers were ghasted when I saw this. I'm not trying to be mean to this creator or hate on this creator. If anything, I feel really bad for her. Because usually when women have such low standards, it's not their fault. It's just because they've been so gaslit by abusive men that they've been in relationships with, or who were their dads, who were their grandfathers. They've seen their mums in being in abusive relationships, and we're breaking generational curses. Okay, I understand that the divine union path is not common, that being fully loyal is not common. We discussed that in the Aubrey Marcus podcast at length, right? So I get that she's speaking to a an audience of women who probably have been dealing with so much sexual misery for so long that they've just normalized it and accepted it in their relationships. They've just started to accept infidelity even. So, you know, I'm not trying to blame her, but it's a little bit harmful to be spreading the ideas that this is the standard. Like, this is not the standard, and of course these men exist. That's basically like the fact that she's trying to say that these are like the good men. This is why so many women are saying that they're not dealing with men anymore, that they're completely sworn off them and they're going 4B. And honestly, I do not blame them, and I'll do a whole separate transmission on 4B, because I do think that on the divine union path, I actually think it's very compatible with the divine union path, because you shouldn't just be dealing with, you know, low bar men when you're on the divine union path, you know. So going on a period of celibacy and not dealing with any man while you just work on yourself, I think is very supportive to women on the divine union path.
There are men who fucking respect their wives. There are men who cherish their wives. And these are men that ground to the belief.
Yeah, just like no longer being addicted to corn. And there's a massive chasm between no longer being addicted to corn and respecting and cherishing your wife. There's a huge difference between that, okay? Not being a lying, cheating motherfucker, basically, jacking off to images of other women and imagining yourself fucking other women and being addicted to basically video content of often young girls who are often the same ages as their daughters, sometimes even their granddaughters, because we know that the number one, for a long time, the number one porn category was teen. And many of these girls have been coerced, have been trafficked, or have been just found themselves in that situation because of unfair economic circumstances. So just because a man is not addicted to corn does not mean that he loves and cherishes his wife. There's so much more work that he needs to do in between giving up corn, no longer cheating on your partner, because that's what porn is, unless you have an open relationship and you're non-monogamous, and actually cherishing and honoring your woman and directing all your sexual energy towards that one person. And it's the same vice versa, okay? Directing all your sexual energy towards the one person that you're with, even as a woman as well. That's divine union.
To the belief, the best way to love the feminine is to love one woman fully.
She gets it, but being activated by other women, being sexually turned on by other women is not loving one woman fully.
If you don't fucking believe me, go look them up. It's a group called Sacred Sons. I'm going to their next event.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Sacred Sons as well in this.
In August. That's like, oh my fucking, like, these men fucking exist. This is the bar. Don't ever settle for.
The bar is in hell. If this is the bar, we are in hell. And I'm sure we've all noticed, okay, with multiple genocides and being ruled by satanic pedophiles, I'm sure we've all noticed that the bar is in hell. So obviously, this is what we are being told to accept. This is what we are being gaslit to accept. Again, not blaming this creator. She's as much a victim of this as we all were.
For a man who makes you think that you're less than because he has a wandering eye. That guy's fucking wounded. We're not dating these dusty guys anymore.
That's a dusty. He's still got a wandering eye. That's still a wandering eye. How is that not a wandering eye? He's getting sexually activated by talking to these other beautiful women and then bringing that turn on to his, putting it into his wife's heart. Gross.
You deserve the best. Now, the only thing I'll conclude with is that the type of women that they go for are open, honest, emotionally mature, vulnerable, feminine.
Of course. Because you have to be perfect, right? To be worthy of a man like this.
So if you want to be able to have that type of man, mind you, you also have to be the type of caliber of woman that he goes for.
Right, of course, yeah. You have to do so much work on yourself to be worthy of a man that's still getting sexually activated by other women and bringing that turn on to you. Just so bullshit. Like, oh, okay, I was hoping to respond to this a little bit cool, calm and collected, but I'm sorry, but sexual misery just lights my fire like, not like nothing else. Obviously, blowing up children also lights my fire, but I can't be taught, I can't stay silent when women are being told that this is the bar, that this is the standard, that if we just work on ourselves enough and get to a good caliber, that we can be worthy of a man like this. That sounds like bullshit, okay? And this is the reason why so many women are going 4B. Did I say that already? This is my second time recording this, so maybe I might repeat myself. But yeah, this is the reason why so many women are like, we're done. We're done. Because if you're telling us that this is how all men are, then if it is really all men, then fuck it. We're just not going to date any of y'all. We're just not going to have any of your babies. Oh, human race is going to die out. Who fucking cares, okay? We're not going to be subjecting ourselves to this type of fucking abuse. So I asked Dom what he thought about it. And his first response was, that sounds like some creepy bullshit. And he was like, I don't understand how that's supposed to be a good thing, that like you're getting sexually turned on by another woman and then bringing that home. And we kind of joked about it. I was just like, babe, how would you feel if like I came back from like a retreat or a workshop and I was like, babe, I got really activated by this sexy guy at the retreat, but I'm so in integrity that I bring that turn on to you. Let me put it in your heart. And we were just laughing about it. So yeah, it's funny, but it's tragic. It's tragic, okay? Because our mothers had to put up with this shit and worse. Our grandmothers had to put up with this shit and worse. And we're still continuing to have to put up with this shit and worse, okay? And, you know, if there's one thing that I learned from my last relationship, getting cheated on by, you know, the last person I was with literally every single person in his contact list who would mildly engage with his creepy predating on them, which was actually surprisingly a lot of women. It's that I am completely allergic to bullshit and leaks in my container. I was just like, okay, I'm just going to go all or nothing now. I'm not settling. I'm going to have proper divine union, or I'm just going to be completely single and sovereign. Okay, I'm going to become a nun. And thankfully, I was able to find a man who wanted the same. But yeah, I don't think that we should be saying that this is the standard, because it just really, the standard is so much higher. And the standard is where we set it as women, okay? We set the standard, and it's in what we tolerate and what we accept. And if we say, no, we're not going to put up with this low bar bullshit anymore, then men will have to adapt, okay? They'll have to heal. Otherwise, we just need to just say we're just not going to deal with any of them anymore. So yeah, thankfully, a lot of women are not falling for this okie doke. And the comment section displayed that. The comment section was just like the gift that kept on giving. And I'm so glad that women are waking up now. So yeah, let's look at some of these comments, okay? That was gaslighting. The idea of allowing your man to entertain other women in any way, shape or form. Hard pass. Someone else was like, wow, it sure is. Splash81 says, a healthy man wouldn't be carrying another woman's energy he found attractive around. That's like, I just can't help myself, boy lens still. A man doesn't even go there. Sure, we all have eyes, but I'd rather him see a mountaintop beauty or kindness of two people helping each other energies back with him, not some carnal-based attraction, right? It's disgusting. And incidentally, actually, my ex did this to me. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the podcast, and if you are and you want more, come and join me over on Patreon. Patreon is where I get a lot more raw and unfiltered, and I speak much more freely, knowing that I'm just talking to a select group off my inner circle. So if you want to support the channel and you like what I'm doing at Inner Alchemy and you're resonating with what I'm teaching here, come on over. The link is in the description and I'll see you there. Obviously there's some people that agree with her, so I didn't get this whole comment, but the amount of women that are communicating in this comment thread that they have no space for their male partners to appreciate beauty is heartbreaking to me. Women, your beautiful radiant sisters do not need to be threats to you and your... Look, it's not about not appreciating beauty, it's about him getting sexually activated and turned on by other women. Look, some people are okay with that. Some people have it's okay, getting turned on or allowing your partner to get turned on by other women and enjoying that is a symptom that you might possibly, I'm not saying this categorically, some women and some men can be compulsive in that way. Okay, if you don't know what the word compulsive or compersion means, it just means getting pleasure. You receive pleasure from seeing your partner enjoy pleasure with someone else, and it's a phrase that they use in poly communities, and it's basically it's in the realm of cuckold territory. Okay, it's basically it's parallel with cuckolding. Okay, cuckolding is basically where you enjoy seeing your partner have sex with someone else. So, many people, men and women, can have a sexual misery implant in the light body called the cook. Okay, I've cleared this in my own light body, and it's basically looks like a cuckold. It's like a deer's head with the stags. It will interface into the light body and attach itself to a vulnerability, usually some kind of betrayal trauma. Okay, so if you have like a betrayal trauma in the womb, or in my case it plugged into my solar plexus, okay, because the solar plexus is where your center of like self-esteem and self-worth is, and so betrayal wounds can present themselves there as well, because if you've been like publicly humiliated by betrayal in the past, you can then end up with this implant. Okay, and it was like this feeling of like getting some kind of like sexual satisfaction or sexual validation from being with a partner that other women wanted to fuck. Okay, and both men and women carry this wound. Okay, a lot of people carry it. And it can also, there can be other types of implants where you get your own sexual validation from like having people sexually project onto you even when you have a partner, and that's usually because you're not getting certain needs met by that partner, which can be because they're not showing up properly, could also because you have walls up and you're not being vulnerable and letting them in. So there can be all kinds of reasons why that happens, but it needs to be cleared, and when it's cleared you can actually start to feel the truth of how you actually really feel about that type of thing, and grieve it, and actually work on creating proper emotional and sexual safety in your relationship. Okay, and it can take some time to work through those leaks and those distortions, but when you do, your relationship becomes so much closer, and there's so much more trust, there's so much more safety, emotional safety, and there's so much more love. It just becomes so much more unbreakable, and of course the intimacy that you have just becomes so much deeper. It's not like sex. It's not like normal sex, okay? It's not like normal sex that you'll have with somebody who you're not in a divine union with. It's completely different. It's transcendent, okay? It brings God into the relationship, okay? It's very profound. And you can't experience it with... you can experience it with when you still have these implants, but the implants will slowly start to reveal themselves through the process of like love making, and then getting deeper and deeper in your emotional connection with your beloved. So clearing them is really important, because then new templates get activated in their place. And those new templates are definitely something that you want, okay? Because they're your gifts, they're your healing technologies, they're your artistry, they're like, you know, business ideas that want to come in. And when you've got these implants that are shutting down and constricting parts of your light body, you're not able to access that higher wisdom from those templates that are supposed to come in, okay? Because your sexual energy is creative life force, okay? You're supposed to channel it into the heart and then into your mission. Share your gifts with the world. You know, you receive, you give and share with the right hand, with the masculine side, and then you receive with the left hand. But if you've got blocks in your sexual energy, in the sacral or in the solar plexus, that block your sexual energy from moving up, then you're going to be blocked in your message and your medicine and what you're here to, your art or whatever it is that you're here to share with people. You know, you'll probably only be operating at like 50% of what you're really supposed to be bringing to the world. So it's really important that we clear this stuff. Emily C. Taylor says, I don't get the idea of being activated by another woman and then bringing that energy home to your wife. To me, that doesn't seem great. What am I missing? And I responded, you're on track. It's just the bar is so in hell that this is considered a good thing. The rest of the men absolutely need their bloodlines ended. This isn't a good thing. It's a recovering porn addict's cope. She responded, I agree, it's a low bar. I definitely understand why it is this way, though. Somebody's written a comment that's kind of supportive. I mean, I don't say they don't exist, but girl, men be talking all kinds of shit that sounds good to say the right thing. I mean, if this is the right thing, then we are seriously in trouble, okay? Now, obviously, it sounds good to somebody who's like thinks that there's no good men out there and that they're all addicted to porn and that they all cheat and that none of them can be monogamous and none of them could be faithful. If I still believed that, I wouldn't deal with men at all. I'd be completely 4B at this point. I'd be completely celibate and just not let any of them touch me. If they're all like that and none of them can be loyal, it's just not worth me dealing with. I don't want to. I'd rather be a cat lady than deal with this kind of leaky bullshit. So Tusha Shaw. Wandering eyes as a man is the equivalent to a woman seeking validation from other men through social media. If a man has wandering eyes, it means somewhere in the relationship his needs aren't being met. I mean, it's an interesting perspective. I can understand why men feel a type of way about women seeking, obviously, for either partner, seeking sexual validation from other people online. Is a leak. It is a leak. Unfortunately, because of the system that we're in, the capitalistic system that we're in, a lot of women have been put in a position where they have to make money from, not so much like, I'm not just talking about like, you know, spicy work, just even like for example, like, you know, me doing modeling. It's not that we need to get sexual validation from men in order to get work as a model, but sexual validation from men is like a side effect of being visible as a woman and using your beauty to sell products. So, you know, it's kind of the same. That this is something that me and Dom have discussed at length, because obviously he does bodybuilding as well and uses his bodybuilding to promote the message of veganism and health and detox and things like that. So, you know, when he posts his pictures of his gains and, you know, how healthy he is from following like a fruitarian diet, it is sometimes a side effect that women will sexually project onto him. That doesn't mean that that's his intention with doing that. It's just what happens. So, you know, you gotta, like, I understand men being insecure about that and also women being insecure about that if their partner is doing that, but you got to look at the intent behind it. And if you're a person who's secure in yourself, then, you know, feeling secure about your partner's intent, that they're not doing it to seek sexual validation from other people, is key. And you've got to be continually having honest conversations with each other about that kind of thing. Yeah, okay, so Stop Hacking Manau wrote, that's so strange. I interact with multiple men a day, but there is nothing Okay, this is a little grammatical error here. There is no essence, read like spank bank, that I want to take from them home with me and imagine to give it to my partner. Okay, I understand what she's trying to say. My partner is the only one I crave, right? Same. Like, I would feel so dirty and disgusting if I was getting sexually activated by another man. Like, again, look, if that's happening to you, if you're getting sexually activated by another person, you need to look at, like, why that's happening and what's going on in your relationship. Where are you not being met? Why are you looking sideways at other people? Like, does your partner not properly fulfill you? Are they not the most attractive person to you? Okay, Daniele has said, that is a great sentiment. Though, if beauty and sex appeal turn a man inside out with temptation, then he shouldn't put himself in that situation anyway. Right? If it's involuntary out in public, like in a store or work, keep it to a minimal. Appreciate the view, but don't sexualize it or think it's better than the person you're with. Don't charge your battery and use the energy from that interaction on your wife, girlfriend. Dissolve it ASAP. Your wife or girlfriend wants to give you that feeling energy from her. She wants to feed you, your ego, your libido, etc., etc. A good perspective is like if a man went to a strip club and got so excited and horny and then immediately went home to wife, girlfriend and had sex with her because some other woman made him excited. Like, I don't want that. Honestly, if a man is still going to strip clubs, I wouldn't want to be with him, right? Exactly. Disgusting. Not mature enough. I don't know. This idea is a good idea, but just not good enough. Just don't cheat. Don't take others' energy. Just be a good moral human. Right? Exactly. Come on. Like, this should be obvious. But I get that it's not obvious if you're just used to, like, really low bar treatment. Then, okay, somebody else said, nah, a healthy man doesn't see other women in a way that activates him for his wife. What the hell? God, this is just the gift that keeps on giving. So steal another woman's essence because one can't access by themselves? An energy vampire, we call them. Protect your energy, mirror work, ladies, right? Oh my God, I can't imagine if I'm talking to a guy and suddenly he starts getting activated by me and then takes that and then gives it to his wife. That, I don't even want to know what that's doing in the field. Like, it's basically probably plugging into my energy field and courting me and then siphoning my womb essence and feeding it in, using it in their relationships. It's just gross. Okay, there's probably some kind of gross courting and interfacing that's happening that needs to be cleared in the field. This one. What the fuck? LMAO. Absolutely the fuck not. Best comment, right? Unhealed, immature, insecure, egomaniac, control freak, narcissistic, transactional, soulless shell of a person he says he is. But the truth reveals there are men, not boys, out there that exist to love beyond themselves. So I think that person's basically saying that they're still boys. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Nothing cute about this, right? That's how I was. That's how I regularly am browsing the internet sometimes. These men are basically admitting they also have wandering eyes. They get turned on by another woman, then bring that energy home to their wife. That's not noble. It's still men extracting from women and using both that woman and their wife. Not okay. Then someone else went, they lied through their teeth and gave a BS answer they knew would satisfy a woman. This should not be satisfying us. This should be enough for us to go, yeah, okay, we're done with all of you. If this is the bar, if this is the standard, if these are like the sacred men that we're supposed to look up to, this is the bar, getting activated by other women and then taking it home to your wife. Are you mad? Oh, I love you guys. You are my people. Lol, my husband would say he just treats them like any other person. He's not lustful of other women or treat beautiful ones like there's something to steal their essence, right? I've seen him talk to beautiful women. He literally acts no different than if it's anyone else. That's how you want your man to act. not like they're sitting there absorbing some essence, which is creepy as fuck. Yeah, basically. I mean, that's what Dom said. These two men basically said the same thing and copied each other's homework. Also, what is it that's activated in them? Lust? Why are they so heavily activated by other women and then bringing their boner home to their wife? LMAO. These people sound like suppressed poly people. Yeah, exactly. And we're going to discuss the allegations against Sacred Sons, okay, once I'm done with these comments. And it's not about appreciating beauty at all. When I'm all for one person and around men who are considered very attractive, I'm naturally not activated by them in a way that my uncontrollable attraction to them can be packaged up and brought to my partner. I'm literally centered on my partner and I don't feel that noticeable activation by other people, but maybe I'm just super monogamous. Yeah, that's what being healed looks like, okay? And if you have suffered betrayal trauma and you feel like you have some leaks because of that, yeah, definitely let's work together. Okay, you can book a session with me, and then I'll also talk about the new group offering that I've got towards the end of the video. Okay, because we can clear so much of this in the field. This sounds massively creepy to me. These men sound parasitic, bringing a woman's energy home to their wives. Listening to another woman applaud these men just compounds my disgust. Setting the bar so low for men is selling women out, in my opinion. I'm not threatened by another woman's beauty because I don't see men's attention as a prize. Let's say that again. I'm not threatened by another woman's beauty because I don't see men's attention as a prize. In fact, this whole thing sounds a bit cultish. Yeah, I think that's a great comment. I agree. A divine masculine man will simply avert his gaze. Yeah, that's what they teach. That's what the Quran advises men to do, actually. This ain't it. Keep fooling yourself. He may as well be going to the strip club and bringing the boner home. Same idea, right? Yeah. Somebody else was like, I love this. Oh, bless you. I pray for you. He said, take that sexual energy for another woman and bring it home to his wife. If this is the best men have to offer, I'm good on men, right? Exactly. I would just be like, nah, I'm done. Like, I'm not dealing with them anymore. If I hadn't already. And I'll talk about like why the standards that I have now. Well, we'll talk about it later. Okay, we'll talk about it after the comments. Hi baby, there were some really attractive men that sexually activated me today and I saved that energy to bring back home to you and give it to you tonight. Absolutely no man would be happy about this, right? So basically I have to give credit to Elite by Laura Marcella because I basically took her joke and presented it to Thomas like, babe, what do you think about this? He was just like, yeah, fuck that. This made me never want to get married, but okay, girl. Yeah, right? He did what now with her energy? Hell no. And then someone else is like, they exist. Oh, babes. Oh, man. New age nonsense. No one wants their man to bring home the energy from his interaction with another woman. Gross. So yeah, that's it. That's all the comments. So yeah, quite a mix, but yeah, a lot of people calling it out and saying, no, this is really not the bar. This is not, we should not be accepting that. Okay, so yeah, but before I bring Dom on, I just want to basically talk you through a little bit about my new offering, A Space to Be Held. Okay, in A Space to Be Held, this is my new container for women. This is going to be an extension of the work that I do one-on-one with clients, okay? When I work one-on-one with clients, it's very, very bespoke to what you personally are going through. So generally in a session, I'll talk to clients about what they're going through, where they're currently at in life, and what they want to get out of our session. Usually what their next level up looks like. And usually if one thing is out of balance, it can usually affect everything else in their life. Okay. So like if they're feeling like stagnant in their mission, oftentimes they don't have their union yet. And a lot of the times they're not, really manifesting the kind of abundance that they need, to really go forth and continue to do that mission and expand in that mission. So we basically set an intention for the session, and then we go into the field. Okay, so if you are not familiar with the work that I do, if you haven't been to any of my group offerings that I've done before, I've done several webinars. Some of them are on my website. So if you want to take a look at some of the webinars that I've done previously to try and experience what this work can do, then I'll put some links in the description where there's a couple of them which are for free. There's one that's for free, that's the Feminine Shadow webinar. And then there's one that's a very small investment, it's just £22, and that was the Activate Your Voice replay. Okay, where we removed crucifixion implants in the womb. We did remove some stuff from the womb, but mainly we focused on unlocking the voice. Okay, because your voice is so important for you to share your gifts with the world, and for you to, speak your truth, manifest your abundance, draw your divine union. It's how your divine union recognizes you, okay, because you're speaking your truth, okay, and you're putting your message out into the world. And it's not always through the spoken word. For some people, it can be music, it can be art, it can be work that they put out, like academically, or whatever industry that you're in, okay, that is part of your soul's blueprint. Okay, so we go into the quantum field. Okay, so basically I use my gifts of clairvoyance, and I close my eyes, and we go and we work in the non-local field. Okay, the quantum field is basically, it includes your physical, emotional, mental bodies. Okay, but it also extends to include everything, basically. And we go, and I basically will look into a client's, when I'm working one-on-one with a client, I'll look into their light body and see where they have implants in their field, where they have tears, where they have leaks or rips in the auric field. And sometimes they might have, interfacing systems that are basically blocking higher self energy from coming in, or blocking their soul's blueprint, the templates that are their soul's blueprint, from anchoring into their light body. And it basically runs negative programs. So I've seen all kinds of things. There can be negative frequency fences that hook you into frequencies of poverty and survival. So you feel like you have to keep on running on a hamster wheel. I've even seen things like that, like little rats in cages. Like I saw that in a client recently, with little rats in cages, where it was like a rat race, like symbolism. So the field would just communicate in symbols, and then we can clear those implants, okay, and activate new templates. And clients will generally experience, or nearly always, okay, I generally get very glowing testimonials, which you can see on my website, will actually start to experience more energy moving through their light body, and they'll literally jump higher timelines. Okay, so they'll go from a more lowered, more depleted version of themselves, where they're running negative programs, not having confidence to go after what they really want, to suddenly dropping those old programs like they don't even believe them anymore, and then they just start going forth into their mission, doing their work. I've had clients meet their divine union, have the family that they've always dreamed of, literally going from getting into toxic situationships after situationship. I had one client, for example, literally getting into so many different situationships with men that were just so dishonoring of her, to then completely, after we worked together, doing a series of, she did one of my packages of light body upgrades, and then she met her divine union and now has a beautiful family and is doing work that fulfills her. So it's literally your life can transform from doing this work. So I decided to open up a group container so that we can work on it in a small, intimate container. Okay, we'll be very carefully vetted with women that are strongly aligned with this work and wanting to transform their lives, are wanting to actually start doing their mission and get clarity on what that is, and align to their divine union. And we'll do it. We'll basically work with what's alive in that group. Okay, so it will be like a women's sharing circle format, where each woman will share what's going on for them in their life at the moment. and then what they want to work on. Each person will have an opportunity to share if they want to, receive reflections from myself or other members if they want to, or not share at all if they don't want to. Okay, sharing is always optional. And then I will do a group activation. And the group activations are specifically quite powerful, in a way that the one-on-ones are powerful because they're obviously, I work specifically on what you've got going on. But the group activations are powerful because firstly, you've got many women amplifying the energy and also working on collapsing, some of these programs in the grids where you are. So it's not just, we work on your light body, but sometimes we also go into the grids around where you live and we kind of see if there's, something that's happening there. Sometimes there can be, like negative spirits around the land where you are, because obviously there've been so many different wars and genocides and colonizations and things like that there can sometimes be malevolent spirits in the grids around where you are who basically run negative thought forms and frequency loops in the people in you. They can attach to people around you, or generally just create this kind of oppressive energy around the area where you're living. And so we can clear that. So that becomes amplified when you're working with a group. And what can also happen is usually I really wanted to bring this as a group offering because what I'm seeing in my one-on-ones is a lot of the same themes repeating. Okay, sometimes I'll have several clients in the space of a 1 month period, and a lot of the same themes keep on coming up again and again. So it's much more efficient if we can just come together and work on those issues together. And sometimes you don't even know that something's an issue for you until somebody else shares that they're going through the same thing. Then you can see that sometimes the things that we're going through, we're not just going through individually, we're going through them collectively, and we can clear them collectively. And it's also an opportunity for more women to be helped and to receive this work at a more accessible price point. And that was very important for me as well. So if that resonates with you, come and join me. The link is in the description. There's an application form that you have to fill out because I do want to make sure that it is carefully vetted, because obviously it's quite an intimate healing container. And we've already got a couple of women already feeling it out. There are very limited slots for this. Okay, it's not going to be a big group of us. It's not unlimited people. It's going to be just a certain number, and once it sells out, I will be closing the doors. Okay, but yeah, if you've been circling this, if you've been wondering if it's for you, don't sleep on it too long. Okay, guys, so I have Dom here, who's just joined me because he wants to say a couple of things. But there were actually 2 comments that I forgot to include. And we're obviously going to talk about this organization, Sacred Sons. Okay, so Ali Wilkins says, the Sacred Sons leaders have multiple sexual abuse allegations, FYI. And then also I left the comment saying, this is not the standard. This is really leaky. If they're getting activated by other women, there's something unhealed there. Sacred Sons have multiple accusations of protecting abusers. So basically, I think this happened around, I forget the exact dates because I wasn't really following it very closely because I was kind of very much more occupied with the Palestine fundraising and raising awareness about what was happening. So when it was all kicking off over on social media, that I was not really paying attention. But I did hear several rumors of accusations of sexual misconduct against several leaders of the Sacred Sons organization. And I think, it was difficult. Before I filmed this, I did try to find more concrete examples to talk about today. But a lot of them seem to have been scrubbed from the internet. Like I found the ghost, when I was searching, I did Google searches or DuckDuckGo searches, and I was able to find remnants of Reddit threads where people had been discussing it, and then I'd go and the original thread had been deleted. Or I tried to find, apparently there were loads of comments that were left on this one a post that Sacred Sons had posted called Accountability, where they announced that they were distancing themselves from one of the co-founders, Obert Bastia, because of multiple accusations of apparently he had been acting predatory towards women during psilocybin experiences, which is, if that's true, is just so fucked up. SA is obviously like fucked up, but to do it when somebody's journeying, just, I can't even imagine, like, just so horrendous. I mean, I can imagine because I've done plant medicine journeys, and the thought of something like that happening when you're that open is just... and then I found a blog post where somebody who was basically running an accountability process for the victims, she was apologizing for mistakes that had happened during the accountability process and how she'd overextended herself and wasn't able to help the victims as much as she initially hoped that she would. And I wasn't able to find any previous blog posts. That those all seem to have all been deleted, and her entire Instagram, which apparently had like over 50,000 followers, had also been deleted. And she had a new one from scratch. So I thought it was really, really fishy. So the only thing that I have to go on is just rumors. Apparently, several of the leaders, there were some of their partners or wives came forward and said that they were coerced into like poly type situations. Somebody had mentioned that somebody got them got somebody else pregnant. But these are all allegations, okay? I haven't heard this directly from any victims, but it's all sounds really shady. So yeah, anyway, I wanted to share that with Dom on the call. So because obviously Dom's wasn't super well versed with all the details of this organization. Yeah, do you want to share your thoughts, baby? Should I just like let you riff and just say what what you want to say?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about them, and it's cool because when you know gematria, you don't really have to know much about. Like, when she instantly told me about this, I just typed in Sacred Sons, and what do you know?
Hey loves, it's Editing Sundial. So I kind of removed a little bit here because Dom he'd done a little bit of the numerology decode, but there was a mistake in it. And then after we completed filming, he spent a little bit more time to just dive in a little bit deeper and found some really, really interesting decodes. So I removed it from this part of the video, but I have put it on at the end. If you're watching this on Patreon, you will get the full version. Obviously, we can't share everything openly on YouTube. So on YouTube, you'll get a more tightly edited version. But if you want to join us on Patreon, links are in the description. Yeah. I mean, I haven't had any dealings with the organization, but I did read a few articles of like men who had been and visited the place, and it did seem like that many people did find it beneficial. So I get that people have been helped, but obviously if it's true that women have been SA'd during ceremonies, then that obviously needs to be called out. But yeah, I don't think anybody's come to trial, so it's obviously unfortunate, and I guess people just need to proceed at their own risk. Yeah, but what did you think of just the whole the content that I was responding to?
Yeah, I already said it enough. I think that it's just she's so gaslit into thinking that this is normal behavior, and it's just so normalized for sexual degeneracy and this polyculture of disgustingness to just normalize this kind of crap. And there's nothing normal about it whatsoever. It's just, yeah, like you said, such a turn off. It'd be so disgusting if either one of us was like, I saw someone attractive, like, it made me all horny and stuff, and I want to, like, bring that energy home to you. Like, what the hell? That was so disgusting to hear that. And
go on.
And yeah, like you said, with the whole, taking advantage of someone while they're under the influence of psychedelics. It's like, that's date rape, drugging, that's really messed up. Especially, I came across someone who was like, some kind of male energy work healer guy, right? He would like mostly work with women one-on-one. And that's what they would do. They would get these women to try psychedelics, microdoses and stuff, who's never done this stuff before, and then take advantage of them, give them pleasurable massages to the point of climax. I'm like, you're basically date rape.
You knew someone who's doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. That's scary. Yeah, there's so much predatory bullshit. But I think a lot of the problem is a lot of women have been gaslit to just think that most men are like this, and that, this is the best that they can hope for. And what, like, you because you obviously, like, I have my partly I have my standards because I got cheated on and was so destroyed from it, and then it also enforced those standards. But also Dom has, but we've both healed, these things together. But there were so many things that I just didn't even realize until Dom pointed them out to me, were like just not fucking okay. So, like, for example, I had totally normalized that it was okay to look at pictures of half naked, that guys would just look at pictures of half naked women, and that's okay, like girls in bikinis and whatever, like, obviously the algorithm just feeds it to you, right? Or I just assumed that every guy is just having the algorithm constantly feeding them half naked chicks, because firstly, that's what my algorithm was feeding me, because, as somebody who's been a model for 20 years, my whole Instagram, I had so many other model friends on my Instagram, swimwear brands, lingerie brands that I'd worked for. And then I would like buy a lot of swimwear myself as well, because I was always traveling to beachy places. So my algorithm was constantly feeding me like butts and boobs and butts and boobs and butts and boobs. And so I just thought that that's what every guy's Instagram looked like. And I think my ex had actually said to me at one point, he goes, I feel like Instagram is always feeding you, like, and I was like, oh yeah, him too. Okay, I guess every guy. And it was you that was like so appalled that I would even think that you were looking at content like that. Like, you were so offended by me even suggesting that you were like, I'm not a disgusting pervert and I would never look at stuff like that. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with looking at that? And he was like, cause he said to me at the gym, and he was like, cause it's not you. And my mind just went, and I'm like, oh, so you actually don't look at other women and sexually project onto them? He's like, are you fucking kidding me? And I mean, we even had a couple of arguments about it, because he didn't understand that I had just normalized that it's okay sometimes to find other people attractive because everyone does. And it was, why do you think that you are different in that way from, or are you different? Is it normal to think the way that you do, that you don't project onto other people, and that to project, and you expect also that neither of us project onto other people, and that doing it is cheating?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's normal now. I think this should be the standard, right? Where you're not projecting at everybody and looking at other people or seeking validation from other people. But yeah, I heard it from like a spiritual teacher, so like almost 10 years ago, that, your thoughts and even stuff you're doing in the dreams matter. Like, there's spiritual repercussions to what you're doing, and it's unhealed emotions playing out, and like to really just sit with yourself and feel why you're doing it and what you get out of it. And yeah, when you think of the soulmate concept, you're just like, yeah, that you're only meant for one person, so then why would I want anyone else? And obviously one person is more than enough for anybody. Like, we all deep down want this deep connection where we just give our all to one person and receive that back. It's like the most beautiful gift you could ever share. It's so sacred and special. And when you realize that projecting or thinking about someone else as attractive or getting turned on by them is sexual projection and basically a form of cheating, it's like, it just becomes really disgusting to think about. And it's like, it's like I think you mentioned earlier about doing bodybuilding photos and selfies, whatever, and trying to just inspire people based on my physique of going plant-based and showing them, just trying to inspire people and show them that you don't have to hurt animals to be strong, healthy, and live full of vitality. And then, the people that do sexually project that, you need from stuff like that. It's just so gross. And, some of these people are, older women and stuff. You're just it's just a really gross energy. And, the more spiritually adept and in tune you become on this path, you feel it. You could feel what people are thinking. And it's a very, just disgusting energy. It's like your intuition just picks up on it.
Yeah. It's creepy. Yeah, it's creepy and it's rapey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was another thing that you helped me realize, that projecting onto people that are not your beloved is not just cheating. It's also being rapey towards that person that you're projecting onto. It's not a compliment.
I think another factor that plays into it is we've both been in such terrible relationships before that it just strengthens your discipline and resolve and desire for that one and only soulmate person that's I'm not tolerating any of this shit ever again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And your vibe attracts your tribe, right? The soulmate connection is similar to a magnet, right? It repels people who shouldn't be with you and attracts the one person that should be with you.
What kind of hope can you offer to women who might be watching this and thinking, well, Dom exists, but is my soulmate going to be on this level?
Yeah, I mean, the woman in the video is on the right path, right? She's seeking something better. She knows something better is out there. Granted, she's deluded in thinking that she's found it with this cult type people. So, but my close male friends, they also think like me. They just want that one and only person they believe in, monogamy with a soulmate type of relationship, wanting to get married and have a family, and they're not about that life. So other men like me do exist.
Yeah.
And it's not about being perfect, but it's about also aligning, becoming what you want, right? To a degree,
I mean, we're pretty perfect. I mean, we're not always perfect with how we navigate our triggers and traumas around this issue, but in general, we've behaved quite well. We've not projected onto other people. We've not leaked, we've not, that kind of stuff. We're operating at a much, much higher level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool. A lot of people think you have to be perfect to be in a perfect relationship, and that's not what it's about. It's about being able to grow together. And you can progress on your own, but the soulmate relationship is going to trigger you so much to grow, even faster.
Yeah.
And if you're on the same page that you want to become the best person you can for the other person, then it's going to be the most beautiful journey together. And it doesn't have to be so painful and lonely, to try and go about it yourself. Not that you can't do that, but obviously, ideally, it would be better to be fully healed before you find the other person. But yeah, we live in an imperfect world, and the odds of that are allegedly, there's only been one person in human history that's ever become at one with God. So, are you really gonna wait till your Jesus status before you find your perfect person?
I don't know if I believe that he's the only one that became one with God.
Yeah, either, but that's what they say, right?
Yeah, I reckon there's a lot more and it's been hidden from us. But yeah, we're not guys, we're not saying that we're by any means perfect, okay? We don't project onto other people. Like I definitely haven't found anybody else attractive since you and I have been together. And why would I? Because I feel like I found everything that I've been looking for. But yeah, we do have wounds around and trust, especially me. I've had a lot of trust issues with my last relationship. So obviously this has been something that we've had to like navigate. But generally we're like dealing with like how we navigate like communicating if somebody's hit on us, or like, you know, friendships with opposite sex friends, or like, you know, if we're gonna have like exes still maintain contact, which we don't, but just things like that. Or like, you know, like how we deal with like stuff coming onto our feed that we feel like would dishonor the relationship. So it's not like, you know, you're flirting with her, stuff like that. Like if you guys are dealing with that in your relationship, then, you know, you need to think about whether that person is actually really ready for a relationship, like for a committed, exclusive, monogamous relationship. If they're like continuing to, you know, look sideways. Because I think if either of us were doing that, we wouldn't still be together.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to share?
Yeah, just that like the soulmate relationship, eventually you're supposed to get to the point where you think and feel exactly like your other half does. Like you're both half of a complete soul. And so when you're in this relationship, you're triggering each other to heal unhealed traumas so you can become closer as one and like really fully understand each other, really heal all the things you've gone through. So these trust issues and betrayal traumas and all these things don't affect you anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a really beautiful journey. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Rewarding journey. And it's like the main purpose we're here, right? Is to become at one with our partner and, you know, take care of the earth and make it a beautiful place.
Yeah, and I think that also knowing that, like the fact that we both entered into the relationship having already been consciously on the divine union path separately for such a long time, for so many years, we already knew what that was. And so that obviously helped us to recognize each other sooner. But I think knowing that there is that soul merge and eventually we will completely fuse and like know everything about each other, I think it's one of the reasons why we've been so sometimes brutally honest with each other, and not held anything back, like even like right from the start. So that, you know, that can be challenging sometimes. Yeah, because you don't like, you can obviously titrate that when you get into a relationship with somebody where you hold certain things back because you think that, you know, you don't feel comfortable being so vulnerable with your partner, or you think that they might be hurt by you being so honest with them. But eventually you are going to have to share those things if you're going to truly merge. And marry, essentially. The divine marriage, the sacred marriage, is basically the two souls merging into one oversoul. You essentially are one androgynous oversoul. So eventually you're already going to know everything about each other. So you might as well just be honest from the start. Like obviously be kind, but but yeah, like there's no point holding stuff back.
And, you know, God knows everything about you too, and still loves you, right? So if you're supposed to become God-like, why wouldn't your soulmate also be able to hold you and love you with exactly who you are and understand what you've gone through, why you made some of the choices you made and things like that?
Yeah.
And they've also messed up too, so they got embarrassing stuff that they've done as well, and they need the same reciprocated back to them. So
yeah. Yeah, and it definitely helps. I think being honest about those things that you might be ashamed of that you've done, like in your past, or areas where you're not yet fully healed, withholding those from your soulmate actually ends up creating more fear, especially when you're talking about, like, for the feminine, we obviously have a lot of fears around betrayal, around being betrayed or being abandoned. Like when we're most, like, let's say, for example, a very primal fear of the feminine is that we'll be abandoned, betrayed, or abused when we're most vulnerable, like when we're pregnant, for example. And so men withholding certain truths from a woman, because just to make her feel like she can't know these things about me, she can't know things that I've done in the past, or she can't know the things that I struggle with, like that actually will make her more fearful. That will make her trust you less. She actually will feel more comfortable with you if she knows all of those things and your relationship to them and how you're dealing with them and how you're working on being better. So yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed that transmission. Let us know your thoughts in the comment box below. We love hearing from you. Smash that like button as well. All the engagement helps to boost the content out so that people who need this message can find it. And if you can help us out with that, we'd really appreciate it, because since getting deplatformed, I'm really struggling to get the work out there to all the people who it was reaching before, because obviously not everybody was subscribed to me on YouTube. A lot of people were reaching my content through Facebook and Instagram, and I haven't been able to get my full following back. So yeah, if you could help us out by doing all the things, liking, commenting, sharing, that all goes a long way. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And yeah, if you want to join a space to be held, all the information you need is in the description. Okay, peace out, guys. One love.
So I didn't get to finish my gematria decode on the sacred sons with Sundal last night, so we're going to continue today. We're going to go really in depth and pay attention to these numbers and how they connect as we go along. It's crazy. All right, so this is their website. This is their logo. Notice it's got 72 rays around it. That's not a coincidence. Look familiar? Aha. Yeah, who owns the banking system? The Federal Reserve? Masons, Zionists, the Illuminati, Freemasons, the Jesuits. Type in Eye of Providence in Gematria in this cipher, comes out to 72. 33 is the highest degree in Freemasonry. This is the guy, Albert Bastiat, visionary of sacred sons. He's accused of sexually inappropriate behavior with women. He's married. If you type in his last name, you got 72, 117, 54, and 303 condenses to 33, highest degree, Freemason. His full name also equals 36. Sacred sons, there we go. We got the 117 again, 36, 153, and 702 condenses down to 72. Jesuit Order 15372, just like Sacred Sons. We'll get to the 54 later. Illuminati 72 and 153. The Roman Empire, here we go, there's that 117 connection. All roads lead to Rome. That's when they're the most powerful. CIA 117. Abuse 33. Molester 33. Molest 33. The Catholics created the English language. That's how this all syncs up perfectly. Pervert 33. Satan, that's who they worship, 33. Trump, famous pedophile, rapist, 33. It's his real name, Trump. P. Diddy Combs, 33. Russell Brand, 33. Join the Sacred Sons and you too can put bison testicles in your mouth and swallow them. And of course, bison balls equals 33. Naturally. They use a company called Primal Seed, 102, 201 in reverse, and 36. That is the goal of Satanism, to get you to worship Baal one way or another, whether it's fondling their balls, letting them fondle your balls, or if you're not into any of that, maybe they think you're into putting animal balls in your mouth as they try to distract you from all their war crimes, pedophilia, and sex trafficking,
evilness. They got you watching adults playing with their balls on TV and Major League Sports. At the very least, they got you believing you're on a spinning ball, so, I mean, they try to get you by the balls somehow. And I'm not accusing anybody of anything in this video. This is all for entertainment purposes only. What do I know? Yeah, so as you can see, pretty wild stuff. It is one big satanic club, and you and I are not in it, thankfully. And if you were in it, or getting involved and becoming a part of it, leave before you end up, who knows, molested, swallowing animal testicles, experiencing sexual misery, being more lost than you were when you started. And yeah, this is not the baseline for how masculine men behave. We certainly don't harm animals. We don't fuck around and cheat on our wives. We don't take advantage of the vulnerable and molest women and who knows else what. And yeah, we just want our soulmate. We want to be married in a divine, monogamous relationship, have a family, take care of the earth. That's what real masculine men do. We're out there. Keep looking. Sacred sons. It's not it.